Space colonization. Yup. Space colonization refers to the idea of humans going out of space and making settlements on celestial bodies. Celestial bodies could be the moon, could be like a planet like Mars, or even an asteroid heading for Earth right now. If you're really into space colonization, you can even buy land on the moon. But if you buy land on the moon, you're probably a lunatic. Get it? Cause like luna's like the moon and lunatic means crazy. I feel like buying land on the moon is definitely something that happens when you reach a point that you just have too much money. Like, I get it, okay? A private island, that makes sense. An oversized yacht, that also makes sense. Heck, even a golden toilet, I can kind of understand that. But land on the moon? What are you doing with land on the moon? No one has been to the moon since 1972, 50 years ago. And the whole space race and landing on the moon thing was just a big form of propaganda back then. Because realistically, think about it like this, right? It's the start of the Cold War. And against popular belief, the Soviets were actually the first people in space. They had sent a ship with no people inside to the moon. But from the propaganda that they used, they made it seem like there were people on the moon. They were calling themselves the Space Conquerors. And they hadn't even sent anyone on the ship to the moon. And as soon as the US soldiers heard that the Russians have been on the moon, their enemies changed from Russians to aliens, extraterrestrial beings. The US government couldn't have all these US soldiers scared like, oh my god, we're fighting Martians, no. So they did their own space landing. Whether it was real or fake, we'll never know. But that's beside the point. All this talk of a space race and whoever gets to the moon first brought a lot of attention from other countries. All of them questioning, what are the rules on space colonization? And so they came together to make a treaty stopping anyone from owning a celestial body such as a planet, moon, or an asteroid. Which begs the question, how do you buy land on the moon?
Do you buy it from a drug dealer?
No, you can't get it from a drug dealer.
I think you can get it on eBay.
No, you can't get it on eBay.
Oh, you get it from Amazon, right?
No, you don't get it from Amazon, you piece. Oh, okay. The most important man on the whole planet, the man that owns the moon. His name is Dennis Hope. Now, there's a lot of things you can say about Dennis Hope, but it's one thing for sure. Dennis Hope is better than you, and he's better than me because he owns the moon. He doesn't care about treaties that 113 countries have signed all saying that you can't own the moon because he does it anyway. And Dennis Hope's power doesn't just stop at the moon. He has conquered the entire solar system, claiming to be the richest man in the universe. He is the leader of the galactic government. He has sold 611 million acres of land on the moon.
Oh my god, we love you, Dennis Hope. Dennis Hope. Dennis.
But how did it come for Dennis Hope to own Pluto and all these other planets? It all starts in 1980. A young Dennis Hope, unemployed and broke, he decided that he had claim to the moon. Because the space treaty only mentions rules on large government bodies and nations owning planets, Dennis Hope is leader of those. He's an individual. And as an individual, he decided that not only does he have a claim to the moon, but he has a claim to the entire solar system. And thus he sent a letter to the United Nations talking about his claim. When they didn't respond, he took the moon and all the other planets by force. When questioned about his actions, he said, I am merely telling them what I'm going to do. I was never asking for their permission. And now, 50 years later, he has sold to the United States presidents Bush, Carter, and Reagan. He has made $12 million from selling land on the moon, and he's currently selling Pluto. Yes, you heard that right. You can buy Pluto for a small price of $250,000. It can be yours today.
Oh my god, I'm gonna buy Pluto.
Now, there's really only one issue with all of this. Documentation saying that you own land on the moon is about as fake as it gets. And to no surprise, it has no real value. It's not supported by any government, any country, nothing. realistically, you could probably just find a document saying that you own a planet or the moon or something, put your name on it, and your claim is probably as legit as everyone else's. And yes, there are a lot of people that do this. Even Virgin Media is selling land on the moon.